Hi everybody, this is Pam from Jesusjunkjournals, and I've got another Humanizing Your Journal project. And so I'm going to show how I made these little tuck-in things that actually this is, I got the idea from Elaine in my Facebook group. And so I made some, and I'm going to show you how I did it. And I think I must have had too much coffee because I did a lot of chatting on this video, but anyway, I hope you like it. Stay tuned. Hi you guys, this is Pam, and I was working on something just by myself, and I thought, well, I'm going to turn the camera on because this is sort of a little project you guys might want to do. And again, this is sort of based on another one of Elaine's nice gifts that she sent me. I think it came off of Pam at Paper Outpost maybe originally. Anyway, so I used an old hymn book that I had. And here's some that I've got taped up. And so you fold them up, and then you can wrap a ribbon around and tie it. And they have little cards that say, I put believing for. And I used index cards and cut them up and stamped them. So I thought today I was going to go ahead and make some more of these. So what I've been working on is just cutting the paper down right now from my hymn book. And so I ended up with these at about 4.5 inches wide and about 7, not quite, I guess 7 3/8 inches long. You could do 7.5 inches long. And then I just folded a pocket up, and I folded up about 2.5 inches. And so basically what you do then is you glue the sides, and then you have several of these pockets, and then you stack them up, and you do 3 at a time, or however many you want, really, 3 or 4 at a time. And when you glue these, you glue them in a U shape, this part right here in a U shape, and what that does is it creates the pocket on the back. So you have pockets on the front and a pocket on the back. So 1, 2, 3. And when I glued them, I made the pockets by gluing that U shape. And then that gives me room for this card and this card, and then 3 on the inside. And then I distress ink them. I wanted to make a bunch of them so I could have them on hand. So I just finished cutting the hymns. I wanted them so that the name would show at the top on at least one. So I'm just taking a few at a time and kind of just eyeballing the fold instead of using a ruler. So I'm just going to fold it kind of. You also want to punch your little hole. Okay, I'm going to use this punch, which is not one of my favorites to use, but I'm going to use it because it's sort of the size I want. It's kind of cool looking through these old hymn books and seeing people write things in them, and some of them have pages that have been used so much they had to tape them back in with Scotch tape, and the Scotch tape looks like it's about 100 years old. And 10. Wow. Okay, so I had exactly enough to make 10. Well, that works out. Okay, so I've broken them into the 3. I'll go ahead and punch these 3 at a time so it won't be so jump up in your face. Or yes, they will. I guess that just happens however you use it. Okay. So it is a rainy day today, and we need the rain down here in Arkansas. It's been a drought, and I was concerned about my plants, my garden going into winter and drought. So it's been several days of raining, and so I'm very happy about that. You know what I should do, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I should stop and distress these. It's easier to distress these before you glue them. Kind of excited. I've just put some Christmas things out in my Etsy shop, and I did it was the night before Christmas, and I didn't know this, but I used to do a lot of selling on eBay way back years ago, and we had a couple of these books. I don't even remember now. I got them somewhere, but they were these little bitty children's books, and they're really old, and one was "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and so I'm like, oh, well, you know, okay, I'll put them on eBay. I did not realize, but I guess there's quite a bunch of people that's a thing for them, that poem, that theme. And that thing went up to like $240 some on eBay, and I fainted. So anyway, I've never forgotten that there are a lot of people that love that. So I did just a real quick, I think it's only like I don't know, $1 or $2. Broke it up into journal cards. I think it took 28 journal cards to do it all. And then I did one on white paper and one on like a vintage paper. So it's like brown with texture. So, and I was breaking it up as I was designing the cards and things. I had to do a lot of manipulation of the type to get it to fit in the cards and so on. So I ended up going over it and over it and over it. So I think I could probably recite The Night Before Christmas if I had to. Maybe I should do that with some things I want to memorize. I have trouble memorizing Bible scriptures. I'm just not good at it. I have the gist of the scriptures, but unfortunately, I know there are some churches that they really teach the kids the verses to memorize them when they're kids. And I was not raised exactly in the church. I kind of went when I was little, and then my family got a lake house, and we ended up going to the lake every weekend. And so that curtailed my Sunday school lessons, unfortunately. And then I, got excited about Jesus when I was a teenager, and when I was like 16. So anyway, there was a big gap in my young Christian education that I'm kind of sorry for now. And I wish I could just rattle out the quotes, but I can't. So, but God loves me anyway. How about that? So, my sisters, I have 2 sisters. One is 12 years older than me, and one's 9 years older than me. And they went to Sunday school because my grandma was, mainstay at the church. So they went, and it was one of those churches where if you have perfect attendance and everything, they give you these metal bars, and you get this pin, and then you hang these metal bars down. And my sisters had the pin and all the little bars attached to it, and I just always thought that was just so awesome. I wanted those pins so bad. But it was not to be. So maybe I could find one on eBay and buy it. Oh, that's terrible. That would be a good thing to get. My older sister does junk journals, and I wonder, Pat, if you're watching, you should go out and look. I don't know if you still have your pen, but if you don't, you should go out and get one on eBay and put it in your journal. Put it in one of your journals. The other thing, though, that I never missed, and that was the Vacation Bible School. Oh my gosh, I loved Vacation Bible School. And what I loved the very most was we had arts and crafts, and I just loved it. And that was in the heyday of gluing macaroni. Gluing macaroni to cans and things. And then spraying them with gold spray paint. That was the, bomb diggity back in the day. So, and the little kids, we didn't get to do that. That was like, you'd see the older kids and I'd think, oh, next year, I will be able to glue the macaroni to the can. Spray paint it gold. She was related to us some way or other. We called her Aunt Elsie. She wasn't really my aunt, but somehow, anyway. But she was the craft lady, and she would come up with the best crafts and things. Well, she was also, when I was going to Sunday school, she was my teacher one year. And she had us do this craft in the Sunday school class, and it was a cigar box. And then she took little match boxes, and they were like about that wide, like that, about that deep. I mean, they still make them, I think, but a certain number of them would fit exactly in the cigar box. And she had us, we covered the cigar box with contact paper, which was also pretty fancy. And then we covered each one of those matchboxes with black construction paper, and around the edge was red. So they were Bibles. They were supposed to look like Bibles. And then each one was a book of the Bible. And bless her heart, Aunt Elsie, I mean, we were not, we fumbled around and glued the black paper and stuff like that, but she took those home, and with gold or silver ink, she wrote the name of the Bible, the book of the Bible, on everybody's. And there was probably not that, I mean, there was probably 8 or 9 kids in the class, but a shoebox full of those matchboxes. She went home and wrote, like, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and all the whatever books it was. It wasn't, of course, the whole Bible that fit in there. And I don't know what happened to mine. I wish I still had it, but God bless you, Aunt Elsie. That was just awesome. I just thought that was so cool. And the other thing that I remember about Aunt Elsie was one Christmas, I was probably 5 or 6, and Santa Claus showed up. And it was Aunt Elsie's husband, Uncle Tom. And he was dressed like Santa Claus, and I thought he was Santa Claus, and it was awesome. And she had made this basket of fruit, and she had taken a piece of like chicken wire, but it was the kind that with the little squares. And she cut a square of it. She pulled the corners together, so it made this round with points shape. And that was the basket that the fruit and things were in. And then she took like red velvety paper and glued all over the edges so it wasn't sharp. And then she put a cluster of fake flowers right at the top. And it made quite the presentation for a 6-year-old, let me tell you. And of course, the other thing was that I was more interested in was I got a red wagon that year. So, but again, Aunt Elsie's craftiness played a big role in my childhood memory. Another thing I learned from Elaine, she just taught me so much with the little things she sent me. She had this beautiful little thin ribbon tied to this particular thing. And I asked her about it, and she said it's rayon seam binding, and it's called Hug and Snug, I think. Either Hug and Snug or Snug and Hug. And you can get it on Etsy. The thickness and the way it lays and everything, I just really like it. So thank you for telling me about it, Elaine. I did not know. Okay, I think I got those all done, so I can go ahead and glue them. I need to get a rhythm down here, and I don't have it yet. Clearly. You're saying, yes, we know, Pam. I've been thinking about what my next project is going to be on my DigiKits, and I think I'm going to do Joy. And I also think I'm going to do, as far as the design styling, I think I'm going to do pink roses and the whole, I wouldn't say shabby chic necessarily, but the whole pink roses sort of more feminine look. I haven't done that before. And I think Joy would be a good place to do that. So that will be... The other thing I've thought on is, you know, you guys have probably all seen the movie War Room. And if you haven't, you should see it. It's really good. We had classes at our church on, or, well, I don't know if class is the word, but we had little, you know, little group things where we did, it was called War Room. To make your own war room. And it was all about creating a room in your house, setting it aside, and then making a board where you put Post-its or notes of some sort about who and what you're praying about. Because in the movie, the little lady does that. She shows the girl what she does, and she calls it her war room. And it's her closet, and she has these Post-its of things she's prayed for, and then God's answers to them when they come. And so then she does it. And so anyway, when we did that at church, it was so fun. You know, everybody tried to find a place in their home where they could be quiet and isolated, you know, hopefully with a door. Some people actually took their clothes closets in their extra bedrooms and took the clothes out and decorated them and like put big bulletin boards. And they were, you know, of course you have to, you know, be creative and make them pretty. And I found this beautiful, gigantic white, kind of shabby chic looking mirror. I mean, not mirror, frame. And I got a bulletin board, and it just fit perfectly at Hobby Lobby. It just fit perfectly in that frame. And so I used that. Anyway, I've been thinking about doing a journal, like a war journal. I'm not sure, though, if people see that and it says war. I'm not sure they'll look past that to what it actually is and realize what it is and that they want to do it. So I'm putting some thought into that as far as how to design it. So those are the two things I'm thinking about for projects. I still have my retro journal that I put out there, and I didn't work through it like I normally do. So I thought I would wait till people are done with Christmas. So I think in December, you know, when it's past time for people to work on their Christmas stuff, it's done and over, will be when I start to work through that kit. And that will be fun. I keep going to flea markets. I have enough to do quite a few journals, I think. But I just love it, and I keep going to the flea markets. And it's also something my husband and I can do together, because he doesn't like to flea market necessarily. He doesn't care about antiques and things, but he likes to help me look for whatever I'm looking for. So I'll tell him what I'm looking for, and then he can go search it out. He does like that. So I usually have him looking for old sewing notions that people have put bagged up in a Ziploc bag, things like that. And he's gotten really good at finding them in the back corners of some of those flea market places. Okay, so I turned the camera off while I inked all these, because I didn't think you needed to watch that. So that probably took me 15 minutes or so. So, my German Shepherd's down there wanting to go outside. You'll take these, I'm going to do 3 at a time. And so you will glue these, like leave a little bit of space here so that you can get your cards in and out. And then also that it'll be enough of a pocket on the back. And when you do 3 at a time, there will be a title of a song at the top. So if you had a particular hymn that you wanted to highlight at the top, make sure you put that one there. And then on the back, you can see the names of those. So those show, but these will be hidden. So just keep that in mind if you want those titles of the songs to show. So I'm just going to glue a couple of these to show you. Actually, I'll use this as a guide. So I am laying this here and then looking at this one to see how far down the pocket comes. And then over here, I'm putting my glue where it will go by looking at that one. So I'm going to go across this one and up, and then again, like on the tops of these, you can cut a tab. So if you can kind of fold it like that, just without actually folding it, you can just kind of cut like that. And then you'll want to go back and touch it with your ink. But make your tab at the top. My dog's mad. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to turn the camera back off, and I'll do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm back, and I went ahead and folded these up. So I glued them and cut the edges at the top, and so then you just fold them up, and the fold goes down. And so you can do a lot of different things then to enhance them. You can add washi tape or cloth to the folds, and then you can add a ribbon. The one that Elaine did had a piece of the ribbon glued around it and tied in a bow on the front with a little embellishment here. You can stitch them on your sewing machine, which I think I'm going to do, at least the sides. And so anyway, on from there. And so somehow or other, I didn't glue. I didn't end up with 10. I ended up with 11, but I ended up with 2 of them that had 2 pockets, which is fine too. If you want to do a 2-pocket one, that's what this looks like. Folds up, has a pocket on the back. So it's cute that way too. So I'm back. I wanted to show you, that's what they look like stitched. And so then you fold them up and you put your flap down, and Elaine had a really cute solution on hers. She had a cloth flower applique, and so I have some that I got at a flea market the other day. So I thought, well, I'm going to do that too. And so these are really thin. I don't want the Fabri-Tac to show, so I am just going to put the glue on this heavily embroidered center and hope that that will be okay and keep it protected. And then I'm also going to add some of the ribbon that I talked to you about. It's that Hug and Snug or Snug and Hug seam binding that you can get on Etsy. And it comes in different colors. You can get a whole roll, or you can also buy it. I got it 5 yards for $1 and something on Etsy. And comes in a lot of colors. And it comes crinkled. I ironed mine. I don't know if you're supposed to leave it crinkled, but I went ahead and ironed mine, which took a while, but anyway. So here's one then. I took 2 feet, 24 inches of the seam binding. I glued it on the back of the little envelope with Fabri-Tac, and then tied it in a bow over the top of this. So that's just a kind of a little finish that's what Elaine had done on hers, and I really liked it, so I did the same thing. So anyway, that's the finished product, and I hope you like it. If you do like it, please click the like button and think about hitting the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It really does help me a lot. And I will see you next time. Bye.